Hello, I'd like to welcome all back to, well, actually just to my Towns LP, which was, I don't know, I just like towns, so let's go ahead and do something with it. I made this map, and I looked a bit at it, so I had a bit of an idea what I was getting into. This is a normal map. I don't feel like making myself particularly challenged with a jungle map or all that. Well, jungle map I can't even conquer, and, I don't know, mountain map? Maybe later, maybe in another, because, who knows, maybe I'll fuck up and everything explodes. We'll have some fun, at the very least. So, when you start at towns, this is how you start it. Everyone stands on one square for no particular reason. They're all like, hey, what the hell am I doing here? But, what, is that a, oh, that's a random stone. That's great. That's interesting enough. Okay, so when you start out, you might be like, this is a little bit open. There's not much to do. I got a nice bit of jungle on this map, though. I also have some surface coal over here, which also, ooh, I haven't got a, I once had surface iron, like, right next to my spawn point, which is pretty cool. I think I want to build central, which means digging out this mountain eventually. And there's a nice bit of water nearby, so I can set up some bamboo and some sugar cane. But there's always the big problem of moving things because it's very difficult to dismantle a large base of operations. I farted, so let's go. The first thing you want to do is you want to gather just anything you can find, really. This is a little bit overbearing for a starting mission thing, but whatever. I'll eventually dig out this mountain. There's no water under this map. I don't like this map anymore. I really don't like this map. I like to have a central location, but there's mountains over it, and there's no river. Hello, I'd like to welcome to my Towns LP. I generated a lot of worlds to get this one, which is bearable at the very least. It did eat up most of my river, which I really don't like, but I guess I can live with it. I guess I can live with it. Can I? I can, I guess. Anyway, when you start out in towns, where are my people at? There you go. There they are. A whole mess of people, and look, all sorts of animals and pretty things. You're gonna be like, well, what the fuck do I do? Well, first... Ah! Oh! Oh, dear God. That's nasty. Coughing up vomit is never nasty. It's never fun. So don't do it, kids. Let's pick a nice central. This spot will work. This is a nice spot to set up shop. First thing you want to do is you want to gather. And you want to gather up, basically, pear trees, apple trees. Not flowers, though. There's no reason to gather flowers. Not now, at least. Essentially, you want to have somewhat of a buffer of fruits so that your people can eat for a bit. Also important is wheat. You'll be needing lots of wheat. Wheat is a basic resource, essentially. It's something you'll be using all the way through your adventure as you make breads and pies and cakes and the lot. And I also got lucky because my jungle's not that far away. Could easily build a road to there. Let's see, we got a nice deposit of stone. Let's get our people to... Let's just let them go to work, and they'll set up a stockpile in the meantime where they can drop all their raw food. Apples and pears, by the way, are prepared food, so make a stockpile for that too. And there. Next thing I want to do is I want to set up a stockpile for materials because we're going to be chopping a lot of trees to get something set up. You want to be careful, though, because at any given moment, your people may encounter a tree keeper. A horrific, monstrous beast that will have very little issue killing your people. So make a quick guard, just for time being, to sort of cover your molasses. And chop down a good part of trees. Now let's speed up the process. Vroom! These men go. Vroom. Oh man. Tree keepers are regular trees for all intents and purposes until you decide to chop them. So now we have this, we can get started on something else. By the way, I'm using the quick keys instead of selecting this, but just harvest for trees and all and flowers and such. Cut is used to get rid of these things. See, cut. Cutting is just used to get rid of plants in general. You need to specifically select and chop in order to get rid of fruit trees. The chop command will not naturally... Oh, well, only if they're harvested, it seems. That's interesting. I didn't know that. But that's the thing. Tilling is used to make farms, and mining is just used to mine into things, and dig is used to dig down into the earth. Like, I can dig here, but I can mine here, because this is on the same level as this. Let me just point that. This is on the same level But this, you'll see when I get to that point. But first you want to set up your first workstation, or zone, as the game calls them. Just make a nice little patch. Doesn't do anything though. So in order to get this thing to do something, though I would say that it's never really a bad time to quickly set up a small patch of farmland or two. This is planting. When you put this down, people will plant whatever the hell you told them to plant there, and it will grow on its own. And you need to auto harvest in order for them to pick it up and put it back down. Oh man, what is with me today? Okay, so we have some bamboo. That's always good, because bamboo is a really useful resource early on. So you can make some pretty cool weapons with bamboo. So I'm gonna make some bamboo. Bamboo and sugarcane will only grow relatively close to the water. I think about 2 squares away. Oh, the way they organize things is using this prioritization panel. So item construction and hauling, for example, are lower. Okay, now we can smack down some bamboo. And we'll smack down a small patch of sugarcane. Now, even though they don't have the means of planting, they'll just have this around. The next thing you want to do when you have done this is you want to look at this. This is an what's all this? Well, this is your stock panel. The number here is how many you actually have. The number here is how many tasks are assigned. So essentially, if I click this once, if I have any planted pear trees, as you can see it says planted pear tree, they will harvest any available planted pear trees. That's not these. These are just pear trees in the wild. You need to plant them by tilling land and then ordering them to plant them. That counts for every single one of these, by the way. Before you make any food, you want to have some growing first. It's just a security thing. I'm going to stop time so we can take a bit of a moment. Let's have some... oh yeah. This is the minimum stock. This is how many you want to have done right now. This is your minimum stock. Let's say I make 5 for this. If I ever run below 5 apples, they will automatically add a task to get another apple until I have 5 apples again. So that's pretty cool. Oh, so they did get some... whatever, I don't care about the flowers. Let's harvest some of this. Let's harvest 10 of this. Same here, materials. Again, these are all planted. You can't just expect them to go with raws. You need to have planted. Let's go with about 6. Set about 20 of both. This is shared over all wood, by the way. So if you just set this to 1 and this to 2, and you have lots of pine trees, it will always just go up to 2, and it will never get to this because, you know, reasons. It will get to that's just... They all share the same stock, so they all react to the same stock. Let's see what to do next. We have some wheat growing. There's a whole lot of thing here. Hummus on snow means that there needs to be snow. Hummus on jungle. Essentially, hummus is when you till it. When you till something, it becomes hummus on whatever's below it. So grass or jungle over here. It's really important that you know that, because you might fuck up. But let's build a utility, which is required to make things. This is a carpenter's workbench, but you might be like, what's that useful for? Well, here we got a baker's table, which requires a carpenter's bench. Now you can see the materials required. The yellow text at the bottom, however, is which zone it may be placed in. That's pretty important. The burner has no requirements, so I can just slab it down anywhere I like. The carpenter's workbench will only be accessible here. And the little arrow is just which direction it faces. You can press F to turn it around, or when it's placed, you can do it anyway. Now we need some stone, so let's chop out some stone real quick. I mean, mine out some stone. Wish life was that easy that you could just chop stone like wood. Gonna get ourselves a wood detailer, so we have all the basic bare necessities. You know what? Let's get the basics for wood farm set up. 10, and then another 10. What should I go with? I don't know, I've always liked just trees. But the pine trees have... I think I'm going to go with pine trees for now, because they look lovely. Oh no, the people are getting restless. Let's set up our bakery quick. Someone cut these. Okay, so you might notice that in this game we don't exactly have direct control. We're not assuming direct control, we cannot assume direct control, we just tell people what to do and they'll eventually get to it. If you have too many tasks, people will never get to it because they're just too busy with doing this. If you have lots of these assigned minimums, you might expect that people won't get to anything because they're just busy doing other things. Okay, let's put those on bakered benches. Oh no, we need a mason's bench first. Let's set up on a mason's bench. Setting a masonry. Where the hell did my bamboo go? I thought we already had 5 bamboo. Oh, they probably use it to plant stuff. Wacky people. Oh yeah, if you try to plant something you don't have to require it, there you go. He's accessible. Let's see, it's dawn. I love it. Oh yeah, you can be a civilian again. Yeah, okay, so we have that growing. You don't really need apple trees or anything because they'll just respawn on their own, and for the most part it really depends on what you want to grow. So we got wheat harvesting going on. Let's focus on the next important thing, which is getting some flour. I don't know, a little bit of sugar is always nice. Okay. So now we can look at the baking. These are foods. While apples and pears are perfectly fine for a quick... Where the hell did they put them? Did you already all eat them? They probably all ate them. No, because nobody's hungry yet. They're all still in the overtime. What the fuck did you do? I didn't order anyone to plant any of them, did I? Oh, whatever. Yeah. So you can see lots of foods. You can see banana bread, it's 130%, which essentially just fills them over the regular amount. It's sort of... Every person has a different size stomach, so they all get different bonuses. So this person will get less out of a banana bread than this guy. Important to remember. These are their equipment slots. This is... Essentially, they go and look for stuff that they can equip. Turns them into soldiers. Gives them jobs like... Oh, you can't do gathering and harvesting. And this assigns them to groups. Groups are essentially just bundles of people that you can auto-equip and change the jobs up for convenience's sake. Soldiers can be guards, in which case they'll intervene with combat of civilians. They can be patrollers, which means they'll walk past patrol points, which is useful if you have several gates and you want to make sure that there's at least one guy walking around there. Boss around will cause them to yell at civilians, which makes them unhappy, but it causes them to move faster and do their job better. The happiness, by the way, is for now just used to get immigrants. If I reach 22 and I have enough personal rooms, I'll get more immigrants, depending on how many personal rooms I have available, up to a maximum of 4 per time. Getting immigrants also lowers the happiness, so there's always that. There's always that. Let's see. Let's get busy with some work. Okay. See, they're meeting up with my woodstock demand. Let's focus on some other things. Oh man, that guy's getting busy. That guy is getting busy. Oh, before I go anywhere, we need a miller. So that I can actually grind down wheat into its flour or components. Which reminds me, I haven't even set any baking assignments. Let's go with bread. Bread is a nice, simple resource. It's easy to make. Just takes a flour, which takes 2 wheat to get. Oh man, what's with my gut today? Let's just go with 5, actually. Flours are sugar's easy enough to get. It just takes 2 sugar cane. I have plenty of sugar cane growing. Apple pies are upgraded. Pies are upgraded versions from bread. They only require flour and a fruit, and they're typically a lot more powerful. That's like 10% for what? Just adding an apple? Easy enough. And there's that. We can't grow snow cherry here because we don't have snow to grow snow cherry trees on, but we can buy it from merchants if we so desire. But that's all stuff for later. Let's just focus on this, which is that our men are, as we ordered, automatically harvesting trees and wheat, and then they put it on a stockpile, and then they're like, oh man, look at this stuff, it's growing all nicely. And I'm like, yeah, it does. Let's expand it a bit, because in the best case scenario, you always have some stuff growing. so they can always have something to fall back on. But now let's take an important step, because there are people, they're not very happy, because we're sort of just in the wild, and they have to sleep on the grass, and they're like... The best way to get some easy is just to place down a nice big dining room. People will eat in this dining room. If you're ever unhappy with how it looks, you can always delete, or you can expand. Expanding can be done in any shape. Like, look at this. I can make a weird thing stick out like a tumor. Can't do that when I'm just putting it down, because I actually have a minimum space requirement for it counts. It also cannot intersect with any currently existing walls, which is kind of weird. But it can intersect with existing walls if you're expanding. Yeah, like that's a bit weird. Oh look, we got cakes. Cakes will boost happiness, see? It's pretty cool. That's pretty swell. Oh yeah, I've probably run out of stone, which is why they aren't doing anything with that mill. Don't worry if people can't reach it floor-wise. For the most part, people are smart enough that they can dig upwards. So, no, I want you to mine it. Come on, peeps. My little townsies. And with this, we've essentially taken care of the basic necessities of our townies. They will now have some food to eat, so they won't starve. They got some stuff. Next time we're going to focus on making sure that our people can manage themselves in case one of these nasty froggies decides to come over and kick them. Because look at that, they got 1,000 in both stats and 1,000 health and 217 damage. Wow. And we got our defense is too low, so they could hit us really quick. So that's a big problem. I think 2 of our guys could easily take care of a froggy. But you should never... Oh yeah, manage. We'll get to that next time. For now, you see how to keep your people alive. Quick tip, you can easily close any window by right-clicking on it, for the most part. If you're, for example, I'm gonna go to walls, and I'm gonna go here, and I click right-click, you go back a menu, until, you know, it just fades away. These buttons, if you click them, it just stops the menu from popping away when time runs out, or something. Okay, so our people are now nice and busy. Do we have plenty? We have plenty of wood. Let's just chop a whole bunch of wood, and let's get them some nice chairs and tables to sit at in our dining room. So they can take some pride in their work. And we'll finally put down a nice candle for decoration. Nice dinner by candlelight. Who doesn't like that? I did not ask for those things. Then we'll expand a bit on the utilities so that more people can work at once, because, you know, utility can only be occupied by one person at any given moment in time space. So more utilities equals more work done per second squared. Ooh, yeah. Look at them working. Oh, they're working. So next time we're going to focus on equipment. More specifically what all these stats mean and how to make sure that your people are up to snuff. So that when you do decide to start going into the dungeon down below, you know what to expect and how to count. Oh, look, I never got that. The jungle's always full of these small pits, and sometimes there's water inside, and sometimes there isn't. It's always been confusing to me. So yeah, at least we now have some basic industry going. We have some food so that the people can eat. We have some wood and lumber and some, you know, some resources. We got things. For the moment, our people are contented. Okay, I'll see you guys next time, because I want to keep these episodes short, because they're in 180p, because I cannot scale this window to 720, which makes the file super, super large. Which it just kind of annoys me. Also, if you shift-click, you can do an assignment multiple times. Like, you could be like, I want to mine this, and now I want to mine this, but if you hold shift, you can click it again, and it keeps the assignment you have already selected. If you don't shift, it just ends the assignment, and you can't have to click the button again. Or the short key. It all have short keys. This, by the way, is a pretty interesting button, and it's actually pretty cool that it exists. But we'll get to that in due time. Oh, look at that. That guy's all happy. He's like, yeah, got some cake. Oh, that's pretty. That'll come later. Cake fulfilled. Essentially, to give you the quick lowdown, Giving them more variety in food is better. But I'll see you guys next time. The next exciting episode, except that this game is really slow and not that exciting. But you know what they say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Where did my apples go? You hungry schmucks?